cells, the bacterial forms, internal inclusions in the erythrocytes, all of them appear here. Hematologists acquainted with blood parasitism are familiar with these forms that are usually said to be myelinic. Actually, we now have the absolute proof that these forms originate in the red blood corpuscles. They are neither artifacts or contaminations, as is often thought. Numerous somatids reappear along with the lynx and levurid forms. This blood is the same as that observed in terminal cancer. From this demonstration, the origin of these particles is indisputable. Now that we have viewed this film, I would like to comment on a few slides. Perhaps they may shed light on certain details that are not quite clear. Here we can see red blood corpuscles, one of which, at the top, near the center, is starting to proliferate. At the bottom left, near the center, there is another red blood corpuscle starting to bud. It is obvious that these are not external factors. We can see the rupture of the membrane here towards the top, and the bud already has a developing cytoplasm. In the center of this image, it is easy to observe this red corpuscle with the relatively large centrosome thriving and proliferating. At the bottom right, you may see that the red corpuscle has already recovered its shape and has freed a new autonomous levurid particle into the environment. We now have proof that it is from the red corpuscle that these levurid elements derive. In the center, we also have a granulating cell. The same thing on the left at the bottom, and completely to the left, above the last corpuscle, we have what is called a double spore. Therefore, we have in this picture a somatid, a spore, and a double spore. This picture is a good illustration of cellular invasion. There are 3 corpuscles here that are already occupied by numerous particles. As I have already mentioned, these pictures allow us to establish an early diagnosis because they can be obtained before the disease has actually localized. We now have the picture of an advanced cancer, and a number of corpuscles are invaded. This is the same thing, but at an even more advanced stage. I would like to add that these slides were made without any staining and with fresh blood. There are no external agents involved. Here we have the view of a somatid culture. Some somatids are isolated and placed in an adequate growth medium. They divide and thrive.
Nous avons donc les toutes petites somatides, nous en avons d'autres.
In this picture, we have the tiny somatids. We can also distinguish others that are larger and that will eventually increase until they reach the size of this thallus down here. As you can see, this element is even larger than a red corpuscle. It is a somatid that has evolved to the point that it produces a filamentous thallus. In this picture, we see that the cytoplasm contained in the ascaris, a mature somatid, is being evacuated into the thallus.
La même image, quelques temps après.
The same picture taken later. All the cytoplasm, or at least the major part of it, has been poured into the thallus.
Ensuite, vous assistez ici à l'éclatement.
Here, we are witnessing the rupture of the thallus, opening at the tip, and the new somatids are freed into the medium.
Son chargement de nouvelles somatides. Enfin, voici le déchet, le talc.
Last of all, we have the waste material, the empty thallus, which is a fibrous casing that is often noticed on stained smears. Because of its size, it is often observed through the color. Now that we are familiar with the somatid terminology, I will present some slides that illustrate the internal structures of these elements. Here you can see a growing ascaris that has produced its filamentous thallus. Please notice the internal structure of the cytoplasm.
Du cytoplasme qui se trouve ici dans l'élément original. Vous voyez également ici un conjoncteur. C'est ce qui permet.
Here we can distinguish the conjunctor. This is what allows the cytoplasm to be evacuated by peristaltic movements into the thallus. This achieved through successive peristaltic movements until the thallus is full.
Entièrement rempli. Ensuite, comme vous avez vu, nous avons une période d'expulsion.
Then we have the ejection phase that we witnessed a while ago.
Vous montre en détail.
The conjunctor is particularly clear in this picture.
Vous voyez ici les membranes du conjoncteur.
We can distinguish its membrane here and the base of the ascaris.
Toute cette partie-là est remplie.
When this part is completely filled with cytoplasm, the conjunctor opens and expulses the content into the thallus.
Cette image est surtout destinée à vous montrer la résolution de
The purpose of this picture is to demonstrate the resolution of the microscope I mentioned before. See the structures of the ascus, the membranes and the tiny cilia that we have here. Their dimension is between 125 and 130 angstroms. Finally, I would like to show you a special picture. We have managed to cut a sample from a somatid sediment and make a special preparation for electronic microscopy with a magnification of 141,000 to 1.
En microscopie électronique à 141 000 grossissements. Une somatide à 141 000 grossissements.
Here is a somatid enlarged 141,000 times. You can see the nucleus, the granulations, the peripheral nuclear granulations, and the budding process.
Je pense que cette image-là nous permet de dire que la somatide est vivante.
I believe that this picture enables us to assert that the somatids are alive.
À la vue de ces documents, je peux
In the
affirmer
light
que
of these
le
documents,
parasitisme latent du sang
I can
observé par de
affirm
nombreux
that
auteurs
latent blood parasitism observed by a number of
pas
scientists
d'artefacts.
is a reality and that
Ces
we are
éléments
not
font
dealing
partie d'un
with
cycle
artifacts.
biologique
These
fondamental.
elements are part of a fundamental biological
Connaissance
cycle.
de ce cycle va ouvrir des
Understanding
horizons
this cycle
dans la
will open new
compréhension du
perspectives
processus vital.
in the knowledge of the vital process. Convincing oneself of the truth that one has perceived is the first step toward progress. Persuading others is the second. There is a third, perhaps less useful, but nonetheless very satisfying, which is to convince one's adversaries. Louis Pasteur.